What up, cousins? We are back with another RoReacts TV video. If you are new to RoReacts TV, thanks for joining me. Please hit the like button on your way in. Today we are recapping another skit from the Country Wayne skit universe. So this skit starts out with Wayne and Amber. And also this is going to be a 2-for-1 scene video. So we're going to cover both scenes of Amber and Wayne. So the scene starts out with Wayne. He's on his porch and he stands up and he greets Amber. He says, Amber Dalton. She says, what did you call me? He says, Amber Dalton. Dalton is your last name, isn't it? She says, yes, it is, Wayne. She closes her eyes and she gives him a side hug and she says, oh, like she's ready to let something off her chest. He just smiles and looks down at her. He says, you're a Dalton, right? She says, yes, I am a Dalton. He says, well, you happy to be a wife, ain't you? I mean, you were always a wife in my eyes. Amber says, you know what? That's a loaded question. Yes, I am happy to be a Dalton, but everything that has come with my husband has been a lot. Wayne says, that's all right, man, because people been through worse. She says, yeah, Wayne, well, we had Kai over last night. She says, yeah, for the first time. And then Wayne says, oh, so Kai came over. Oh, he know where Shayla was last night. He says, so you kept your stepson. Amber says, yep, I kept him. She says, and on one hand, I was happy because I just looked at our little family and I was like, okay, I can rock with this. The next second, I just think about how Kai came about and I just feel like, man, this is so unfair. She says, Wayne, I lost David. She said, and Shayla gets to keep her baby? And then it has to be with my husband on top of that? Wayne says, you know what, Amber? I'm not even going to lie to you. Life is unfair sometimes. You know, I ain't going to lie to you, but God is fair. And you know what? You may look at this situation and think, you know what? Shayla is getting all her blessings, but says God has something for you. And what he has for you is so grand that it's going to take a little bit longer to put together. And I thought that was so sweet. He says most of the time when you see people getting their blessings, it's quick. He said, you know, you can build a Camry quicker than you can build a Ferrari. He told Amber, whatever God has for you, no man or woman can touch. He said, and you just in the midst of all this right now. He said, but you know what? To keep it all together and still look as good as you, he says, I'm proud of you. Amber says, she says, you know what, Wayne, have you ever felt like your faith was shaken? She said, because I'm not going to lie. To see Shayla in my face and she just keeps on winning, knowing all the things that she did to me. She says, how does God bless someone has done me so awful? Says, you know what, you really don't know what a person is going through internally. He says, you know what? You are one of God's chosen because to sit there and to go through all that you went through and to still be nice to his child and accept what you're accepting, you got to be one of God's chosen. So now we're going to move on to, they end up going in the house because Wayne told her it was too hot. So on their way out of the house, they have another conversation. So Wayne tells her, I'm glad you're able to stick through all this and still handle your business. She says, oh yeah, I'm always going to handle my business. Yeah, Wayne, and you threw a whole bunch of shade in her business. Shady tree, Wayne. You petty, Wayne. Let Shayla find her own bag. So Amber says, you know what, Wayne? I've been wanting to ask you about your jeweler. He says, oh, you're about to buy some jewelry? She says, well, not for me. For Anthony, our wedding anniversary is coming up and I want to buy something nice. Well, Wayne has his mouth open at that time. He says, oh, it's your anniversary. She said, why are you looking at me like that? He says, I don't know, it's your anniversary. He said, but you know what? Yeah, you can have my jeweler's number. I'll give it to you. But you know what's crazy though? She says, what, Wayne? He says, everything that you've been through with this man and the fact that you still thinking about going to get him something, even though what you've been through, that's the reason why God is with you. And that's the reason why you was meant to be a wife. Amber says, well, when you gonna get a wife? He says, I'm married to the game. He said, hustling is my girlfriend. failure is my ex. He says, I'm married to the game. She said, but the game can't be on your deathbed with you. The game can't hold you at night.
I got a husband. He let us do business together.
Yeah, because it was a different situation. He married to the game.
She would let us do business because she would know that I'm a classy woman that would never mess with a married man. Just like you, correct?
So you don't think about it sometimes? Like for real? No, for real. Let me ask you that question. Do you think about it sometimes? I just want to know as a friend. Now I tell you the truth, but I think about it sometimes.